And that's what we're producing here. Now, one of the things that's sort of difficult about a dependency injection container is that it makes it a little bit difficult to track down exactly what's available to us within that service. If instead we called the class directly, we could just use our IDE in order to, say, command click it and go to the definition of that class. But when we're using the dependency injection container, like we are here, we can't just click on something to see what this UUID service does. UUID is just a name that aligns with a class that eventually gets created somewhere down the road. So because we're going to be dealing with services a lot, it makes sense to think about how we can track down what that service actually does. And there's two ways we can do that. The first is to go straight to the dependency injection container and look for this name of a service. So I'm going to copy UUID, and then I'm going to go to my dependency injection container. Now, I know from experience that I can find this under Sites, Default, Files, PHP, Service Container Prod, and it's right here. We could also do a site-wide search for one of those service names as well, but I'll go ahead and open this up. And in here, I'm going to do a file search for UUID. And here we go. UUID aligns with the function getUUID service. So I'm going to copy that, which I know is going to be a function name in this service container. So we'll do a search, and here's the function. And now it says that this service's UID equals new Drupal component UUID PHP. So this is what I would want to go to figure out what we have to work with. If we command click this, for example, we can see that this class has a single method in it, generate, that we can use to generate a UUID. So this is one way. It seems like a bit of work to dig this up, but after you do it a couple of times, it goes pretty quick. Now, the second way we can do it is by using our debugger. What I'm going to do is take this file comparison and close it. And then I'm going to take the code in our 13th step, which adds these service calls, copy it, and I'm going to paste it over the code in blind date controller and save it. Now, just to make sure this is working, let's go back to the browser and refresh our page. And you can see here we have my username and a unique identifier here. So it's clear that the services are working. So let's go back to the controller and let's set a breakpoint after we grab this service. So I'm going to set it right afterwards. So the idea here is that this UUID generator variable is going to be of the type of the class that is being instantiated through this service. So let's go back to the browser, and I'm going to initiate a debugging session and refresh. And here we are. We've stopped right here. So if we look at UUID generator here in our variable list, it's of the type Drupal component UUID PHP. So this lets me know what class I'm working with, and I can do a search for that. In PHP Storm, if I type Shift twice, it will allow me to do a multifaceted search, and I can do a search for UUID/PHP, which is the last part of this namespace, and it will search class names here as well as file names. So this one here is the one I want. I'm going to double click it and open it up, and sure enough, we get the same file that we got going the other route. So these are two ways we can go. Again, we can search the dependency injection container for the name of the service and then track down the name of the class and navigate to the class from there. Or we can set a debugger after we grab the service to find out what class it's an instance of and then do a search for that class